Hi guys. Welcome to Wednesday, April the 1st. I won't play any tricks on you today, even though it's April 1st. Maybe I should and tell you have 5 tests. No, I wouldn't do that. Just kidding. I want you guys to, right now, if you're watching this, just take a huge deep breath, like we do a lot in class when we feel completely overwhelmed and all of that. So take a big breath, take a minute, and let it all out. I know it's overwhelming right now. There's so much going on and things are just so different and it feels so different. I said yesterday, it just feels so surreal still to me, this whole situation we're in. But I just want you to take that deep breath and know that we are all in this together, okay? You know I am only a message away. And I am responding to you guys just as fast as I can. My computer has become my best friend. So, if you're feeling overwhelmed and you're feeling stressed, not understanding things, that is okay. There's a lot of change right now and we get it. So just know that I'm here for you. All of your teachers are there for you. The administration is there for you. Just hang in there, okay? I'm going to move to math, because we have another review of what we did Monday. This topic that we're working on is usually one of the most tricky ones for algebra. And that's because of the wording. How do I phrase an algebra? How do I change an algebraic expression into words? And then how do I take a word phrase and interpret it so that I can change it to an algebraic expression? So we're going to just review today. So again, take that breath. It's okay. There's nothing new today. I'm just going to work through some more examples. If you need this video for the extra review, and I did put that up there, it is a review of Monday. If you need this video and it's helpful for you to just go through these, I'm going to do a bunch today. If you don't need it, then you can cut the video off whenever you feel good and go on to the homework assignment. Homework assignment will be very similar to Monday's. Again, it's just some extra practice for you guys. And certainly take up till Sunday if you need to do the assignment. Don't rush. Many of you are going into the assignments and doing them pretty quickly, which is fine. But I also don't want you to feel that you have to sit and stay there for the whole time when you're doing an assignment. So just, if you need to spread these out, that's okay. We understand that. And you should. You got to have that little bit of a break in between doing different things, okay? You also have other classes. I understand that. Again, taking that break and just kind of going through everything at a good pace for you is what's most important, okay? I think that's about all I wanted to say. Just again, know that we're here for you no matter what. Don't be afraid to ask any questions or tell us what's going on so that we can help you, okay? We love you all. All right, so review today. Over to your left, are those really, really important words we talked about the last time. I had them on the board the last time. These are going to be the key words to know what operation to do. So for sum, adding, greater than, adding. I won't read them all because we've done them before, but they're there. And again, you can rewatch this video 100 times if you want. We're going to pay attention to those, so those will stay up for the whole review today. Okay. We are starting with, the review will start with taking the word phrases. So all of these right now, there was some confusion on that from a couple people on the homework. Probably more of you were confused, just didn't ask. These are word phrases. Why? Because they are small segments of a full statement. They are phrases and they're using words, right? So we're going to go from word phrases to the numerical using numbers, which we call an algebraic expression. So we're going to turn these again into a number expression, a number statement. We have to look for those key words though, right? So for number 1, we have the letter B split into 4 equal groups. I'm looking at that word split because it reminds me over there of the word split equally. So I'm going to go ahead and box those words in green. Split equally. So again, if I'm splitting equally, that is division. Well, what do I do with the B in 4 in order to indicate that this is division? I know it's B divided by 4. Now remember, I had a couple people that said, how do we do a division sign on the computer? Or how do we do a multiplication sign on the computer. You won't need those. And so all the homework is purposely made where you, not necessarily that you don't need them, but you're not going to use the traditional way we write a division sign. So instead of writing a division sign like this and a multiplication sign like an X, we are going to make those work better with algebra. If we use the X, and this was in the notes and in last video, if we use the X, you are more prone to think that that X is an X and not a multiplication sign. And the division sign, we just make it easier on yourself by using a fraction, because fractions are a numerator divided by a denominator. So we make it easier. We take that division sign away and change it to a fraction bar, which again means division. So for this one, I've got the letter or variable, if you knew that, great job, divided by 4. I'm splitting whatever this is, whatever b is, we don't know that, and that's okay, because we're just writing expressions. Whatever b is, I want to split it into 4 groups. Think about splitting a candy bar, right? You're dividing it amongst whoever you have there. All right, so again, that is division. When we look at number 2, we see the word product of 8 and k. Product, if you look over to the left on the word chart, product means to multiply. So that's a really important keyword. We know it means to multiply, but what we don't want to do is we don't want to write 8x for multiplication next to a k. So I'll show you what we're inclined, it's like our first reaction to write it like that. Now what happens though, again, if you do this when we're doing algebra, is that looks like 8xk and your mind will get boggled like what's going on here. So what we want to do is get rid of the x and now write it like a multiplication, but in a different way. When you have a number next to a letter, that when they're smushed together like that, side by side, the number always comes first, by the way, the letter second. That indicates multiplication. So you're good by writing just 8k. This means 8 times k. So that's when I say get rid of that x, that's what we want to try to get rid of there. So 8k. Number 3, 36 less than w. I've got the words less than there. 36 less than w, which indicates to me, if I'm taking 36 less than this letter, this indicates that whatever the w is our higher value. So remember when we subtract, we always start with a higher value. When you write this one, these are those trickier ones because it's subtraction. When you write those, we want to make sure the value we know is the higher is written first. So w, and it's telling me 36 less than that, okay? So let's say I had $84. I wish I had $84. I have nothing. Wouldn't that be nice, right? If I had $84 and I want to know what 36 less than that is, I'm going to subtract. Hopefully that money example worked. That usually works a lot for us when we're in class talking about these. That is how you would write that. Again, these are word phrases in the blue and in the red and green. On this side, what I'm writing are called the algebraic expressions, the number expressions. I'll say that a couple times throughout the video so that you understand word phrase, algebraic expression. All right, this one's not too bad, 16, because they kind of give you the word right in there. 16 divided by y. Divided, remember we're not using the traditional division sign. When we see that, we want to use the fraction bar. So this is, and we do them in the order that they're listed. It is 16 divided by y. And that's it for that one. Pretty easy with that one. You guys rocked these out. So far, I've been scoring some of the homeworks. So far, so good. One like this, sum, I know you guys all know that. That's the plus sign. And we do use the plus sign because there's nothing else right now that would indicate how to show that. Now, there's 2 ways you could have written this. So one of you might have written it 52 plus x. Somebody else may have written it as x plus 52. With addition, does it matter? No, because it's a commutative property, so you can reverse those. That's like me saying 8 plus 10 or 10 plus 8. I'm still going to get 18 either way. So it does not matter when you're talking about the sum of a letter, a variable, and a number. You can flip-flop those two. So again, 2 choices for this one would work. Okay, I'm going to pause for a minute. I'm going to put 5 more examples up here, and we will keep plugging along. If you're getting this pretty easily, you may not need to watch any more. But I'm going to do a couple word problems. So if you do want to stay on, that would probably be helpful for you guys to see that too. All right, everybody, welcome back for a few more examples. You might notice at the top of the board that I changed it to now writing word phrases instead of writing algebraic expressions, because we're now going to flip-flop, okay? Just like you did on Monday, so it's okay, take a breath. You've got numbers here, and we want the words. So we have to think, this way's a little harder. You have to think in your head, how do I express this to someone if I was to say it as a word phrase? How would I describe it, what they have to do? So if we look at number 6, this is 4k over 2. So we have to kind of look and see what's happening there. Well, I notice in the numerator on the top, the numerator side, we have 4k. Now, again, when a number is next to a letter, it indicates multiplication. We just don't, again, use that x in algebra anymore. We want to try to stay away from that. So this is 4 times k, right? But then we notice a sign, a fraction sign, the division sign. So this is really 4k divided by 2. Now, when we talk about 4k, we have to mention that they're being multiplied. So one way, there could be multiple ways to describe this, is to say that we are going to take the product. Remember, product means multiplication. We're going to take the product of 4 and k and divide it by 2. So if I was to put this in a word phrase, one way I could say it would be the product of 4 and k divided by 2, okay? Or you could use the word quotient, okay? I'll use quotient for today. They would mean the same thing, so either are fine. So we're going to say the product of our numerator, so the product of 4 and k, and then you can either say divided by 2, or we could also say the quotient of the product of 4 and k divided by 2. I actually will use division because I would have to reword a little bit to put quotient in the front, but you could do it that way also. Some of you have on the homework. So the product of 4 and k divided by, because that's what this line means, divided by 2. That is an example of a word phrase, only just part of a statement to describe what's going on there. All right, if we look at number 7, I've got a 3x plus 1. So just start at the beginning, okay? If it's a fraction, start at the top, look at what's going on, explain that first, and then we finish. If it's written like this, start right here, and then let's explain what's going on, okay? So again, just as if you were explaining to me in class what this means. 3x, remember, a number next to a letter, so this is a coefficient next to a variable. See, that vocab is going to come back. You're all like, it's coming back. We have a coefficient next to a variable, which means multiplication. When we talk about multiplication, the word over here that we'll use for that is product. So we are going to say the product of 3 and x. We could use the word plus 1. That would be fine to do that. Or we could say, you could also say that, start with a 1 and say 1 greater than the product of 3 and x. Either way. So I'll go that way. So these are those two-step ones that can be a little tricky, but this is 1 greater than. If you look at the side, greater than means to add. So this number is 1 greater than the product of 3 and x. Kind of writing fast here so you guys won't be too bored sitting there. I'm taking the product of 3 and x, and then I'm increasing it by 1. This could even say, you could even use increased by on this. The word phrases are really flexible. There's many ways to often say them. So if I used increased by, because that means addition too, I could say here, the product of 3 and x increased by 1. That's another great way of saying that. Okay, so there's like 3 ways you could do that one. So again, take a breather on these. There's a lot of flexibility when you're writing word phrases. All right, and I love to see the way you guys are writing them. Everybody's doing them in different ways. All right, we've got a 1/2 here next to an A. Again, a number next to a letter indicates multiplication. So we need to use either the word product here would fit the best, really. This would be the product of 1/2 and A. So kind of a simple one. Just I threw the fraction in there to see. I know we often freak out when we say a fraction. It's okay. It still means the same thing. So we still do it the same way, I should say. The product of 1/2 and the variable A. That's it. It's really saying 1/2 times A. The product of 1/2 and A. All right? This one I see a minus sign, so we just have to kind of be cautious of how we word these. There's a couple different ways you could do this one too. You could say P minus, and write the word out, minus 21, that's fine. I'm going to try to stick to the words we have here. We could say we could just say the difference of P and 21. Could do it that way. You could also say, you could use less than and say 21 less than whatever the value of P is. I'm going to use that one. Again, you have a few options here. So this one is 21 less than my value of P. Now, why did I put the 21 first again? This is where subtraction can get tricky. Because I know that P is my starting value, I'm taking the 21 from whatever the letter P was. So let's talk about money again. If I had $21 less than P, I know that P would have had to have been my starting value. So I want to figure out if it's $80, if P is $80, and I have 21 less than that, I can then subtract those two. But again, on this one, you could say P minus 21. You could also simply say the difference of P and 21. Again, a few ways to say these. And I'm actually going to add a number to this one. Let's put let's put a 7 here. Just to step it up a little bit, to put 2 operations in there. So again, we start at the left and move to the right. Let's see what's going on here. We've got a 7 next to an H. And again, a number next to a letter means multiplication. Okay, so we got to talk about product here. So we're going to say the product of, product again means multiply, the product of 7 and H, I'm going to use this term right here, increased by how much? So this value is increasing by a value of 31. So increased by a value of 31. The product of 7 and H, which means 7 times H, increased by 31. Increased meaning plus. All right. Stick with me. I got a few more examples where we're going to talk a little bit about word-based problems. So we're going to go even a little bit deeper. So give me a moment and I'll change the board out for us and we'll continue on. All right, guys, we are back for our last 5 with this review of word phrases and algebraic expressions. Oh, and I just realized I forgot an S on there. To all my little editors in class that always help me out with that. I don't have you right here to tell me. You guys are always so good about that, so forgot my S. All right, so number 11. Now, we're taking sort of double operations now and going to word phrases. Okay, we got this, it's okay. So again, take a breath, just like we do in class. You got this, so. And you know I'm here if you need me, okay? Number 11, 5 greater than the product of 6 and h. So I'm going to do that coding so you guys can see. Let me grab a different color here. So you guys can see what operations we're talking about, and using those red terms to the left are really important. So we've got the words greater than, which indicate to me that I'm going to be adding somewhere in there. I'm just going to put a little plus sign above that. And then, and the product of 6 and h. Product means to multiply. Now again, when we put that together, I'm not going to write 6xh, right? We're going to write it as 6h. Too many x's and h's. What we want to do is make sure we have those kind of kept separate, because I've got addition over here with the 5 and I've got the multiplication over here. So if I were to write out first the product of 6 and h, we just said that's multiplication. So we know that we have a 6h somewhere in there, okay? So here is 6h. I'm going to pop it in here. We're done with that side. We have represented it with a number. A term, I should say, actually. There's another one of our vocab words. Now I want to go 5 greater than that. Well, we know that greater than means to add, right? So I've got 6h, but I want to go 5 greater than that. So I'm going to go ahead and add that 5 on. Now, if in your head you reversed those, it wouldn't matter, because this is addition. Those can flip-flop and you'll still get the same answer in the very end. Whatever h is, you would multiply that out and add. But we are not solving these. We are just writing the expressions. So don't worry about solving. We don't know what the value of h is. I didn't tell you that. So if I did, you could solve that. And if you had reversed the 6h and the 5, it would have come out as the same answer. Okay, just trying to point that out again. All right, number 12. We have 8 less than. Looking at my keywords over there, I know that less than means to subtract. And the other side says the product of a half and j. Again, product means that we have to multiply whatever my number is, in this case a fraction, with the letter. So how that would look, again, I'm not using an x in between them. I'm going to put them side by side. That will look like 1/2 j. So I'm going to pop that in here, 1/2 of j. And then what am I doing here with this also? I have to take 8 less than that. Now here's where the order matters, because it's the operation of subtraction. I need 8 less than that, which means that my higher value, my starting point, was the 1/2 j. Now I'm taking 8 less than that. So I want to minus the 8. Okay, 8 less than whatever I started with, that product. All right, now I know how much we love exponents. Don't freak out. This is g squared increased by 8. Just look for your clue words, guys. You're not changing the letter or the number at all. The g squared is staying and the 8 is squaring. So don't let the little 2 throw you off. Just look for your clue word, which in this case is increased. What does that mean? If something is increased by something, look at our keywords over there, that means I am adding. Okay, so all I'm doing is adding these two. All I want to do is add g squared to 8. That's it. Nothing else, because we are only writing algebraic expressions. Okay, could I reverse that because it's addition? Absolutely. Now typically your letter does come toward the front. We talked about that in class. But again, wouldn't matter on this one. Okay, either way, addition is addition. All right, we have m decreased by half of n. M decreased by half of n. So let's look at that word right there, decreased by. Now that one I don't have up there, but it's very similar to doing difference. If something decreases, instead of adding to it, increasing, I am decreasing. So what's the opposite of adding, right? Would be minus. Throw that one in just to see if you would get that. So I'm starting with a value of m, but I'm decreasing m by whatever half of n is. So I'm starting with m, and I am decreasing whatever that value is by half of n, Well, a half is just like this fraction right here. I'm decreasing by a half of n. M decreased by half n. That's it for that one. Sounded tricky, but not so bad, okay? All right, now I'm going to move out of the way a little bit here. Number 5. I threw a little word problem in there to see if we could figure out how to write something that's a little longer as a algebraic expression. So since I feel like I'm making cookies every day and that's all I'm eating every day, like every hour, I'm sure you guys are too, I wanted to use that as an example. So let's say Mrs. B made Y batches of cookies. So I'm not telling you how many, but I'm telling you it's the value of Y. And she splits them equally amongst 4 people. Well, I want to look for my keywords first, right? So I notice split equally. And then I go over to my little handy dandy chart here. Split equally means to divide, right? So we know we're going to use that fraction sign, okay? That division bar. So I know I made Y batches, so I'm going to take that Y and then divide it by what? How many people did I have? 4. So I made a bunch of batches, which we're calling Y, and I'm splitting that between 4 people. That is how you would write the algebraic expression for that word problem. Okay, now if I were to tell you that I made 12 batches and I split them amongst 3 people, each person would get 3 batches. But again, you don't have to solve these. We are just practicing writing the word phrases and writing the algebraic expressions. All right. Wow. I know that's a lot, but I was feeling that people were a little bit nervous about this one assignment. So I just wanted to really, really review today as much as possible with you guys. Okay. Please know, again, that all you have to do is throw me a message if you are really lost after watching the videos and looking at the notes. The notes are great, by the way, too. I don't know how many people have actually gone in to look at them, and they're all dated for you, but just to review that, because I know you have a lot of classes and it's really, again, overwhelming right now. If you go, I try to keep everything in one spot for you and not ever change the location. If I do, I would let you know. The first thing you guys always want to check is bulletin board. That's where big announcements are, like, hey, you guys, don't forget this, this, or this. When you go to the topics pages, this is still algebra. We're still in topic 5. So when you go to your math page, go over to topics. It's the second tab over. You click on that and you'll go down to topic 5. Just click right on the little black chalkboard that says algebra. And when you click on that, you'll see everything there that we've done so far. But in there is also the notes. So you'll notice it says 4-1 in the corner of the board. I'll try to date those 2 up there for you. You're going to look for the 4-1 notes. Now in this case, because it was a review, and I will have 4-1 notes up there too, but because this was also Monday, it may not be a bad idea to go into the 3:30 notes, which were Monday notes. Okay, so I would look at both the 3:30 notes. I think I did over 8 examples in there, really step by step. So when I say to look at the notes as in the video before kind of jumping the gun and saying, oh, I don't understand any of it, it's really important to watch the video. I think most people are saying the videos are helping more than anything. Okay, and thank you to those who took the survey, because you and parents and guardians, that information was awesome. Right now it sounds like on average, everything's for math and science is doable, and it's not too hard and not too easy. But if you ever feel that, again, just reach out to us. I can certainly pass you more things to do individually if you want, and I can certainly I can work with those that need a little more time on things. You just have to let us know. Please don't be afraid to ask for a Zoom session. I kind of am doing them more one-to-one when it's a dire case where you need the help. So don't be afraid to ask me for a Zoom session. I will set one up. I'll send you the link, and we can just talk until you feel comfortable with what you're doing, okay? I just want you to be positive about it and try to just know we're there for you to help. Okay? That is it for today. So you guys choose homework A or homework B, and let me know if you have any questions. And I hope your family is very well. Have a great night.